Hello class, this is Justin Shanley coming to you with our second multimedia post. So a quick overview of what I'm going to be talking about for the four um, people I found is one, Peter Drucker, who's a organizational specialist, Dr. Dudley Weeks, professor of conflict resolution, Richard Walton, who's a presidential candidate and who failed, or I should say didn't get elected, and Michael Roloff, basically a sociologist. So Peter Drucker, the quote I found from the book was that the single most important shift in the way Americans do business involves a shift from ownership to partnership and from commanding to consensus. I was in the introduction, kind of cheated, not in chapter 1, but I liked it. Really summarizes business. So the things I learned from going back to his article was that tools are not the most important. The concepts behind them are, and tools have drastically changed the way that people do tasks. Like the computers, totally revolutionized the way that people work, the way that organizations run, and just shows how different and how much of an impact tools can have on any business and any trade. Um, in Drucker's article, he really contrasts business in the new and old way that it's ran. So now, Deadly Weeks, the simple one I found was conflict is an inescapable part of our daily lives. So this is moving towards our main topic of conflict theory. What I learned from his article was that conflict's an active, creative, persevering, and powerful process. And I think anybody can agree. In any relationship, you'll have that. And he also defined it as a process of relationship that involves the past, present, future. And again, it's just so true and so good. We'll definitely have to use some of his things in the future essays I write. Now, Richard Walton, this quote was, he characterizes conflict in two phases: differentiation, where they raise the issue and basically part and talk about it, and then they integrate, where they engage in problem solving. This is the way politics should be. It's not the way that it is, because both the liberal and conservative sides refuse to engage in conflict resolution. They just want their side to win, and vice versa. Nobody ever wins because nobody ever resolves conflicts. So Walton's theories is great, and it aligns with what the Bible teaches. You got to give someone on the table, you got to sacrifice and come to resolution in any relationship or marriage or in business. All the same concepts apply. So what I learned from Walton's article is that sociological and social energy is tied up in suppressing conflicts, and conflicts that are not addressed are played out in indirect and destructive ways, like the famous Bible verse, don't go to sleep on anger, things like that. I mean, it's just true. We're designed to work through conflict, and when we build it up inside and people explode, that's obviously not a healthy way to go through conflict. So, and then the last one, Michael Roloff, kind of running out of time here. He points out that conflict emergence, I can't talk tonight, I apologize. Conflict emerges when people perceive that their rewards are too low, their costs are too high, or they anticipate resistance if they attempt to reach their goals. I like this one because this totally reflects what I see in my career. When people feel or perceive that they're being oppressed, or they don't make enough money, or there's too much risk in their job, or just too much on their plate, they really tend to start having conflict and more negative feelings and emotions towards their career, which obviously will impact the way that they produce and how efficient they are, etc., in the workplace. So now what I learned from going back and reading Roloff's article is that he studied and analyzed behaviors of people. This is more of a socialist kind of study for social exchange theory, more of like sociology. But it was interesting because he compared people's comparisons and alternatives based on their self-interest and the cost that they have to face versus the reward. It was just a very interesting kind of sociological I guess, study that was conducted. But that's all I have for this week. I look forward to looking at the rest of your posts. See you next time.